You are officially in the loop. Welcome to In the Loop podcast. I am your host, Jordan Jo Hollabaugh, professional rodeo athlete, entrepreneur, and a full-time cowgirl. I'm married to my best friend, and we are blessed to get to do what we love every day, and that is travel around the world and rodeo. My goal on this podcast is to promote the Western industry, and specifically the sport of breakaway roping. On In the Loop, we bring you behind-the-scenes stories of what real life looks like every day from cowgirls, cowboys, industry leaders, producers, trailblazers, and all of the like. You are now officially in the loop. Let's get to it. Okay, guys, so we are here today with Tibba Smith, and we are all talking about these WPRA elections that are going on within our organization. And I just wanted to get straight to the facts. So we're going to be talking with Tibba, and we're also going to be talking with Mandy, obviously, because we are breakaway roping fanatics and we want the best for breakaway roping. So Tibba, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this for me and all the members.
Absolutely. And I think just like we were talking a little bit ago, it's the fact that I want to bring the facts forward, and the biggest thing is everybody needs to vote. Like, no matter what your take on this is or anything, like, for us to make forward progress and change, we have to step up as members and vote. And so I'm very excited that yourself and Mandy Holland are both running for the breakaway roping director for the West Coast region. So let me just give you the platform and tell us a little bit about why you even wanted to, huge thanks to Lynn Smith. She is the reigning and previous director for the West Coast region. Miss Christy Broderick is the current for the East Coast, and I think it's just split right down the middle, right? So Christy will be remaining in her spot. Lynn, it changes every year. You might can elaborate on that a little bit. But Lynn's spot is coming up. So that's what you guys are running for. Tell me a little bit about why you're passionate about running for the breakaway roping director, and a little bit about your background of, why you think you're qualified.
Well, I feel like I've been on every side that you could be on. I was married to a PRCA contestant for several years. I have been a contestant myself. I run barrels, I breakaway rope. I worked for Tarleton State University for 5 years. So I helped, do the fundraising, put on the rodeo itself. And now I'm the secretary for the biggest college rodeo region in the nation. So I get to deal with 790 contestants. So I'm in charge of, literally putting the rodeo together, how it's run, just about everything you can imagine.
And it's just I'm partial because I came from that region, but now there's over 200 breakaway ropers in that region, which is super exciting for me because I was also a past college rodeo coach, and so I'm very excited I don't have to sit there through 200 breakaway ropers through the rodeos anymore. But it's exciting as a breakaway roper to know that those ropers are coming up and they're coming into pro rodeo, and the sport of breakaway is just growing tremendously, which
It
leads me to
is.
my next question. How are you going to bring value as a breakaway roping director to breakaway ropers and the membership?
One thing I want to do is, if I'm elected, I do want to make better communication lines between the PRCA and the WPRA. I feel like, sometimes we, we don't get all sides of it. So we just need to get better lines of communications. Another thing is I want to get better lines of communications between the WPRA members and the WPRA itself. I feel like sometimes as contestants, we don't read, all the emails they send us, or, we don't know that huge rule book. But it is something that we need to work on. And I feel like there's, some text messaging things we could do to maybe get out some important rules that are, going on. I think, clearly we all want breakaway roping added at every PRCA event with the equal added money. And there is actually a plan in place that, the first year a rodeo comes up, they have to add at least 500. And then the next year they have to add 50% of what, the guys' barrels or the girls' barrels and the guys' events are doing. And then the next year it's 75%. And then the next year, 100%.
And I think communication is going to be huge. It is huge for us, right? Like you're saying,
Mhm.
everybody has a phone in their hand. I'm a huge email person because we run a business. You're a huge email person. You run a
Mhm.
business. Everything is done via email, but not a lot of people are, but we all do have our phones in our hands. So that would be exciting to improve some of the communication aspects as a member. I think that would be really good. Which leads me into my next question. Communication with these committees and the rodeos that have already approved Breakaway and then are potentially thinking about it approving Breakaway and or with the added money increase rule that is in WPRA rulebook. How do you see yourself communicating with these committees and what tactics are you going to use to try to grow Breakaway, whether it's already existing at these rodeos or maybe not there yet?
Well, I think like a simple friendly phone call. Whether you call, the stock contractor and ask him, hey, like what committee guy do I need to talk to? If he wants to add Breakaway, can we get equal added money? I don't think that we need to demand it really. I feel like sometimes in California, the rodeos are so big already, and with all what goes on in California, I think that sometimes just a friendly phone call, be like, hey, how can we, get equal added money? Is there ever going to be a chance? Just kind of stuff like that. And I do think, with the stock contractors, I do believe that they have a lot that goes on with committee guys. So hopefully, if we can get some, good communications with them, good relationships with them, maybe they'll help us out even more.
I agree completely. I think that that would be, huge. I think the rodeos out west are continuing to grow, and so that's exciting as breakaway ropers. Okay, so to follow with that, as we grow these rodeos, we're growing at the committees. Obviously, all of our end goals is National Finals of Breakaway Roping, and so this is the fifth year of the National Finals of Breakaway Roping. We're coming into the sixth year, 2025. What are your goals and expectations for the national finals of breakaway roping, and how do you want to continue to improve that?
I mean, clearly, all of us want to be in the Thomas and Mack. I mean, that's every break roper stream. Are we there yet? No, unfortunately, we're not. Are we working to get there? Hopefully, but I would love to see the national finals be on a little bit better platform. I feel like we need to get, more added money. I feel like these girls rodeo hard all year long. Their expenses are the same as the barrel racers, the same as the guys. And they're not getting to run it 32,000 a night or whatever the guys are, or the barrel racers. So that's one thing that we really need to, work on, improving every year. And then I really want to showcase them a little more. I don't think that running five back to back really fast, and getting over, I don't really love that. But that is what they have to work with right now. So everybody's grateful that they get to run, at good money. But I do feel like I don't know that five as fast as you can run them at the South Point is something that I love for them.
Yeah, 100%. Within the board, it's two breakaway roping directors and 12 other directors. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So how do you see yourself fitting in and working with the WPRA board to navigate? I know some of the conversations in the past, which we are very appreciative as breakaway ropers to the WPRA, to the board, and all the things, right? It's a learning thing. We're both learning together. But I also know there's quite a few people that are double events on the board or strictly barrel racers on the board. So how do you see yourself stepping into that role and working with the board members that are currently there? I know there's some elections going on with them as well, but stepping in and working with the board to navigate towards one decision to be better for the WPRA as a whole.
Right. I actually do have pretty good relationships with a lot of the board members. I've because I run barrels and I breakaway rope, and some of the board members I had as college rodeo contestants, that were my directors in college. So I actually know a lot of the board members, and I feel like I do feel like we're going in the right direction of trying to get breakaway rope added everywhere, trying to get equal added money. It's maybe trying to be more united and not two different events under one roof, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Absolutely. Okay, so being as a breakaway roper, obviously I'm a little bit one track minded. And I do have to take into consideration a lot of the times that it's not just Breakaway Roping Association, it's Barrels and Breakaway. We're an association as a whole. So, as an athlete and as a competitor, what do you bring to the table perspective wise to try to merge the two? And at the end of the day, we're one association fighting for one cause.
Right. I do feel like I bring to the table that I do both events. And honestly, I'm not really sure that I didn't have more money won in the barrels last year than I did the breakaway, which is not very good on my breakaway roping, but it's okay. Like we're working on that. Um, but I will say that sometimes barrel racers are one track mind and sometimes breakaway ropers are. And so I really hope that maybe I can get in there and be like, hey guys, like, yes, I agree that, you know, that is kind of how you think, but let's try to look at it from this perspective also. Um, because I do both events and it's really hard to do both events a lot of places, but I feel like I'm very competitive at both. And so maybe I can kind of try to help both sides see both ways.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. And I think that that's something we need moving forward no matter what, because I know, first and foremost, I don't understand anything and everything about barrel racing. And I know
Mm-hmm.
that they don't understand everything and anything about breakaway too. So
Mm-hmm.
to have that merge, I think is beneficial
Mm-hmm.
for everybody moving forward. What do you think sets you apart in this election race?
Um, I do feel like we talked about a while ago, like I am very well rounded. I mean, I've been on the pro rodeo side. I've been on the barrel racing side. I've been on the breakaway side. I've been on the secretary side. I've been on put on the stock contractor side, put on the committee side. So I feel like I do have a very an understanding of all of those events or all of those things very well. And all of them have to work together. Like sometimes I just want to shake contestants and be like, "Hey, listen! Like, I mean, these committee guys are working their butts off. Like, they might not be doing it right, but like, let's help them out." And then sometimes with committee people, I want to be like, "You don't understand how much money these contestants are. It costs them to get here, or their rigs, or their horses." So and then the secretary side, so there's that, but it's I feel like I'm just pretty well rounded in all of those
Yeah,
things.
100%. As we move forward, where do you see the WPRA 5 years from now?
I would love to see them like more united, everybody supporting each other. I would love to see the breakaway ropers having a lot more added money at their finals wherever it's at. I want to see them getting showcased as the true champions they are. I would hopefully we're getting somewhere with this plan that's in place, with the equal added money everywhere and continuing to grow breakaway at every PRCA rodeo.
Perfect. And for anybody and everybody who has not voted, let's just dive into a little bit about the voting process. We all got an election ballot via email.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't checked it, go check it. You have your
I
election on there.
believe
But we
I
know
believe it
that's
came out February 13th. If you need help like going to find the election, I believe it was the February 13th is when it came out.
February 13th is when the email ballot was sent and it's electrical ballot. There will be no mail-in ballots this year. So a lot of people, Tibba, and we can talk a little bit about this, didn't sign up to vote correctly. So how do they find out if they can vote for roping director or if they can't?
They can call the WPRA office. And actually, so anybody who when they bought their card, they actually got a confirmation email, and it says on the bottom of it where your designated circuit is and what your voting is. And we've already had discussions about how the application might be different next year because a lot of people are confused. But yeah, or just call
Yeah,
the office and they can help you
yeah.
out.
Let's say worst case scenario, call the office if you have questions, can't find anything, and go and vote. I encourage everybody to go vote and be a part of it, have an active hand in the fight, and try to help grow this sport of breakaway that we love. Tibba, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for taking your time to join us on the podcast and to run for Breakaway Roping Director. And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.